Hi everyone, and welcome to the video that's going to show you how to obtain the fireproof, explosion-proof Hellenbach GT. Now this marks the first ever video that I'm going to make, which requires the use of a special glitch called OM0. Now this glitch is really quite something, because what it does is it makes the game have a situation where the game doesn't register you as doing a mission. It's really kind of confusing to explain, but because of this, because of the game not realizing you're on a mission, it allows you to merge missions together, which would otherwise be impossible. And there are many different types of situations you can have, and I'm going to call this situation that I'm about to show you the stage 1 of On Mission 0. Now the stage 1 of On Mission 0, you can use any vehicle that has an R3 mission, like firefighter mission, taxi driver mission, the vigilante mission. I'm even certain the paramedic mission will work. I don't think trash dash or any of those other ones work, but any of the major R3 missions, so paramedic, firefighter, taxi driver, vigilante, is perfect for performing stage 1 of On Mission 0. So when you've got the vehicle of your choice, just get in it, and you want to drive to this rampage here in Harwood. This rampage is a pretty special rampage because it's near the Bumps and Grinds mission, which I'm going to call stage 2 of On Mission 0. And we don't have to do stage 2 in this video to obtain the fireproof, explosion-proof Hellenbach GT, so it's actually quite a good one to start with to get you used to this process. So with the fire truck, you can literally just park right next to the rampage like this, and then get out. And what you have to do now is literally let the timer of the rampage run down to 0. Okay guys, so if you have a taxi or something like that, what you want to do is you want to park kind of diagonally around the rampage. You basically, the way you want to park your vehicle is you need to have the front door, the driver's door, right next to the rampage before you get out of the vehicle. So you can see that Tony's in the left-hand seat, the driver's seat, and when he gets out he'll activate the rampage. That's all you need to do basically. So no matter what vehicle you're using for this process, just make sure that the rampage is next to the driver's seat door. Hope that cleared things up. Okay guys, so I'm now back with the fire truck. This is a different fire truck. I just wanted to make an example of how you could use a taxi or a cop car or a fire truck to do this stage 1 process of On Mission 0. And stage 1 is obviously easier to perform than stage 2, but we don't need to perform stage 2 in this video. Now what's interesting is with this mission merging, you can actually activate the same mission twice in a row, which is really strange. So you can basically make the game duplicate itself, which means that unobtainable vehicles, which would normally be the case, can often be obtainable because you're basically replicating everything in the mission. So when a vehicle is stuck to the ground, hence the reason why the fireproof, explosion-proof Hellenbach GT was unobtainable, because you're going to produce 2 of them, one of them will not be stuck to the ground. So it kind of it gives you a clever shortcut to almost break the game down to get what you want. So it's not as solid as, you know, the classical approach without On Mission 0, but I don't consider On Mission 0 a cheat, because it's just something you can do and it doesn't really affect your stats. I mean, you can affect your stats quite badly if you're not careful. Like you can complete a mission twice for no reason and get, you know, 100% completion early, but I'm not going to do that in any of my videos. So as soon as the timer runs down to 0, get in your vehicle and quickly activate the R3 mission. And if you time this correctly, you should get this glitch display where you're actually running the R3 mission and the rampage at the same time. So in this situation you can just cancel the R3 mission, and now you're basically doing the rampage, but the game doesn't realize that you're running the rampage because the mission markers are now available. So you can see Vincenzo's signal is on the radar, which it would otherwise not be if you were performing the rampage in the classical sense. So this is why On Mission Zero has been such a breakthrough in the GTA world, because it's just given us a new region to explore, especially the vehicle collectors. So what you want to do is just drive to the mission. You must do this before the timer runs out though, just be aware, because once the timer runs out, the rampage will be over and you'll just be back to the classical sense of the game, acknowledging that you're not on a mission, but you won't be on a mission. So what you want to do here is just go into the marker to activate the snuff mission. So yeah, I hope it's been clear, the instructions so far, because it's an unbelievably difficult subject to explain, to make it logical. So you can see the timer's even in the cutscene as well, so it just shows you that the game has no idea that you're on a rampage. It's extraordinary. And because of this, you can easily crash the game if you don't know what you're doing. And don't worry, if the game crashes, it's not permanent. It's just a pain in the ass because you've got to restart the entire console. So what we do now is we wait for the rampage timer to run down to 0, and then you'll be able to redo the snuff mission again. But the crazy thing is, since the game doesn't realise you're doing the snuff mission, you can activate it again by merging the missions together. So first we had the rampage and the R3 mission. Then we cancelled the R3 mission to have the rampage, and then we were able to activate snuff. And then once snuff was activated, we let the rampage run down to 0, and now we're given the ability to start snuff again by merging it. So you can see it's a really crazy concept. It's just absolutely unbelievable what you can do. So now we have technically duplicated the mission. So now we just need to drive to the ammunition. I might skip this part of the video because it's just unnecessary filming. Right guys, I'm at the ammunition now, and this is a new fire truck, by the way. I basically just redid this part of the video because I explained it unbelievably badly last time. So what you want to do is go inside and get a gun, because you're forced to. And it's annoying because I have the revolver already, so I really would rather not buy this pistol, but you have to, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to notice something really interesting that happens. You're literally told to go back to ammunition and get a gun again because of the mission duplication process. Be careful not to shoot the guy in ammunition, otherwise that will cost you big time. So now get your fire truck and drive to the construction site. Now I like to leave my fire truck here because it aids in the pushing later, but that's all personal preference. So now I just run around the side and enter the construction site. You're going to see something very interesting that happens here. That there are 4 guards at the entrance instead of 2, because everything's been duplicated. So there are twice as many bad guys as there would normally be if you played in the classical sense. Just got to get the last guy now. You'll notice there are 2 phones, so now just pick up both phones. Okay, now there's a chance of two possible outcomes. One outcome is where the blue triangle is directly where this car is. Sorry guys, I got into a muddle there. I explained it really badly. So basically, you can have one of two different outcomes. The first outcome you can have is the unlucky outcome, which unfortunately is going to happen more often than not, especially if you're on the PSP version. I cannot say for sure what happens if you're on mobile, an emulator, or even the PS2, because I'm a PSP player, so this is what I experience on the PSP. On the PSP especially, you can have the blue triangle, which is directly where this unmarked Hellenbach GT is. Or you can have the blue triangle appear on the road next door. And if you get the blue triangle to appear on the road next door, you're very lucky. The next part's going to be really simple. And I'll demonstrate the good outcome later. But with the bad outcome, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go into grey hell. Hi guys, now this is an example of the good outcome. So you can see on the map the blue triangle is now outside the construction site. Which marks the car. So what you have to do is basically use whatever you want. I saved my fire truck for this very reason. And you want to push the car that does not have the arrow on top back to the safe house garage. But be careful because it's not damage proof, so any big shunts you do can damage it. And you really don't want to blow this up if you got this far. So what I'm going to do is use Tony alone just for this little bit. It moves okay, it's not so bad. Just use Tony alone just to give it a bit of a head start. And then as soon as I can use my fire truck, I will. But the fire truck does deliver quite a lot of damage, so just be a little bit easy on it. If you don't like doing the grey hell glitch, I can assure you eventually you'll get lucky with the outcome. You just got to be persistent and keep going. I did this about 4 or 5 times and this happened, so don't give up hope. Eventually you'll get the lucky outcome. Because I agree, I think actually it's probably more worth just restarting the whole process instead of doing the difficult outcome. Because it really doesn't take much effort to just restart the process. Whereas if you try the bad outcome and go to grey hell, etc., you've just got chance for failure anyway, so maybe it's better just to restart. But I leave that up to you, of course. So just take your time, you can really relax with this one. You've got no gang shooting you at this stage of the game, so you haven't got any danger of that. Okay, that's annoying. Really unnecessary. So now I have to try and get the fire truck behind it, just to speed this up. There we go. So it's a really easy push back to the garage. Thank goodness it's not in heavy form, right? But you can convert anything into heavy form anyway now, so that's not exactly, wouldn't have been an issue anyway. Okay, I've already got something in my garage, which is the legendary fireproof exclusive colour black Kuruma. And I back this game save up like crazy. So I never ever have to get it again. So just to show it's locked, which it is. This bit can be a bit of a pain, so what I recommend to do is get the car close to the garage, You can use a motorbike, possibly, but I don't think it's necessary at all. Oh, you son of a... Okay, I'm actually going to use the Karuma. You don't need a motorbike. It's annoying because when I did this first time off camera, I literally just used Tony alone to get the Hellenbach in, but of course, anything that I film is always automatically 10 times harder than it should be. Right. Let's get the bonnet in. Get the fire truck out of the way. Just use Tony alone to push the Hellenbach in. Like that. And you'll notice the garage doesn't repair it. That's because you have to end the mission. And you can end the mission very easily just by passing it. So literally just drive to the blue marker, which is the Hellenbach that you're supposed to drive away and respray. Whereas this other one we pushed into the garage is a clone. So I'm just going to drive back now really quickly. So now we respray this one. You should pass the mission. You'll notice you have a yellow triangle on the map. Don't worry about that because that will go away when you save and reload the game. It'll stay on forever unless you reload the game at some point. So what you want to do is go back to your garage. Now do not go into your safe house, whatever you do. Open and close the garage. Not repaired, repaired. And unlocked. So property testing time. Is this really a fireproof, explosion-proof Hellenbach GT? Well, we're about to find out. Completely fireproof. Completely explosion-proof. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope this helped. Cheers. Bye. But with the bad outcome, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go into Grey Hell via the subway train track tunnel. And you can do this two different ways, which I think are really good. You can either use a big vehicle like the fire truck, a coach, Trashmaster, etc. and drive to this location here in Hepburn Heights. You know, steal a motorbike, drive the big vehicle in the water, and then drive the motorbike on top, fall into Grey Hell that way. Or you can use a heavy superior handling PCJ 600, which I do have saved in the garage for this exact reason. Or you can simply just restart the entire process and try again. Any one of those outcomes work well. So I'm just going to demonstrate now that you can use the fire truck even just to do this Grey Hell glitch. So I'm going to do that first. So literally just drive here, and then you'll get 4 pylons. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Now you need to get a motorbike, and there's a motorbike that always spawns in this alleyway I'm going to show you, so you don't have to look for ages trying to find one. And it's really good because I have infinite sprint now, so I don't have to waste my energy tapping X all the time. And after this, I'm going to show you how to do this glitch with the heavy superior handling PCJ. But I think if I were you, I'd just restart the entire process. Because, oh, for God's sake, are you serious? Why? Okay guys, I finally got myself a PCJ, finally. That took ages. You can use any bike you want, but I just happened to find the PCJ first. So what you do is drive to the fire truck. You've seen me do this countless times. I've done it with the fireproof exclusive colour black Kuruma. And also I did a special video like 5 years ago where I used to trash master, so I've done this quite a few times now. But I'll just demonstrate it again for completeness. So what you want to do is get your big vehicle in a position like this, pretty much perpendicular to the edge, like that. And then you want to reverse the back wheels off, like that, and get out. Be very careful because you really don't want to drown. And now you want to push it in as straight as you can. That was okay. The coach is a far superior vehicle to the fire truck anyway, and I'd much rather use that. But it's a hell of a drive just to get a coach. And I just want to show that you can do it with the fire truck as well. But the fire truck, it's really dodgy because you've got to get onto the grey bit. Like that. So when you're ready, get off the bike. And now you are in grey hell. Good days. So what you need to do is follow the subway train all the way to Hepburn Heights. So you don't have to go very far. So once you've got to this stage, it's really simple from now on. Okay, here we go. Right, now follow the train. Be very careful not to fall off, because it will drive you to buggery and frustration. And because I did that so badly, I'm going to just wait again, play it safe. And you'll see something very interesting when we get closer. Okay, the train's come back, which is wonderful news. And you'll notice that the car with the blue arrow is stuck in grey hell. That's basically why it hasn't appeared on my game, because it's stuck in grey hell. And what you have to do is use a sniper. And the reason I have a sniper is because I've collected hidden packages. But if you don't, you're probably not going to get this car very easily, but you need to shoot the tyres. And I'm going to get even closer just to show that you can get closer. But honestly, you absolutely do not have to do this in the slightest. You really don't have to do this. You can just restart the entire process and eventually you'll have the good outcome. Okay, that's almost as close as you're going to get. So let's see if I can use a long range gun. No, I'm just going to use the sniper. It's so freaking difficult to see. There we go. It will fall into grey hell and then spawn on the road. So all you do now is just fall off the subway train track tunnel. You peer back in Hepburn Heights. And the Hellenbach will now be spawned on the road. Now luckily the one that you flatten the tyre is the one you have to respray anyway. So this is not the one you're going to be pushing. So that's the outcome you want, is to have the Hellenbach with the blue arrow on top to be on the road, and to have the cloned Hellenbach inside the building site. I'm just going to show you as well that you can use a heavy superior handling PCJ to get into grey hell very, very easily. And it's probably the method I would always do, because it's foolproof and it's so easy to obtain one of these bikes anyway, that every vehicle enthusiast should probably have one in their garage anyway. because it's such an awesome bike on its own, but it's so useful to do tasks like these ones. So you just drive the PCJ to that location. You can use any heavy PCJ, but I think this is the only one that's available at this stage of the game. So you go to the same place, just drive off. And if you don't land on the subway train track properly, it doesn't really matter, because you just spawn back on land again and you just try again. But isn't that so much easier than doing the fire truck, trash master or coach drop method? I think it is so much easier, and it means you don't die if you screw it up. So I think about here next to the pylon. Yeah. So you get exactly what I mean. You can even get off the bike and you're good to go.